Hey everybody.
Like to see themselves.
Are we on? Okay. Welcome back to episode 15 of the House of Plum. Sorry for the little screw up there at the beginning. But today is a pretty cool show. We got two new guests. Normally it's just been me and Martin lately, and we just thought to change it up a little bit. And I brought a friend over, Dana Townsend, to my left here, and she knows another friend, Joe, what was his last name?
Pausick.
Yeah. And he was originally going to come on too, but he couldn't make it today, so I said that's cool. And Marty brought a friend of his too, Julia.
Thank you.
Graber, you're welcome.
Yes.
All right, did I pronounce it right?
Yes.
All right. As you realize, our show has been about different random topics and things that just come on top of our heads, and that's what today is going to be about. We decided to break away from the gaming aspect that we did the last 3 episodes. And I think we're still going to talk about gaming a little bit.
A little bit.
D&D, we might do it later on. Marty?
Yeah.
Well, anything about it or anything new going on in the D&D world?
Well, our D&D game will be start. I was going to do that right after the show today,
Okay.
and we're working on trying to get enough people together so we can so I don't have to run a character anymore, so I can just DM, which is what I like to do, just DM. But
Yeah.
now we got too few people to play, so
Yeah. Yeah, it's been kind of hard getting extras on there. It's just like with this show, it's always hard.
Do you have a group that you get together with regularly to play?
we try. It depends on people's schedules.
Yeah.
Right now, it's Frank, me, Julia, and Andy, which is a friend of my friend Joe's.
Okay.
I need at least 3 more players to round it out real good, and just so I can just stop playing a character and just run the game.
Okay. I've never played before.
I never did either until I ran into him last year, and he got me into it. And it's pretty easy, and it's not too hard. And another buddy of mine tried to get me in a game called Magic: The Gathering.
Oh,
I don't know if you ever
card
heard of that.
floppers.
No.
Yeah, I didn't get into that. It was too complicated. Too
Okay.
many characters and things you had to memorize. And D&D is pretty simple. You just
Just memorize your character and
roll dice.
It
and-
seems like there's a big culture around it.
Yes,
Yeah.
there is. I was actually kind of surprised. When I first got introduced into gaming back in 1990, we played a system called GURPS. It was a generic role-playing system. And then I had a friend said, no, you've got to try D&D. It's the original, it's the best. I was like, okay. So he bought me dice, and it all started from there.
What is it about it, do you think, that draws people to it so much?
Part of it's the culture. Part of the fact that it's a free form type game for the most part. I mean, there's a certain amount of role playing. I mean, yes, there's a set of rules, but there's also this acting portion where you role play out certain situations. It's not just hard and fast numbers and tables.
Okay. That's interesting.
well, there was a lot of numbers and tables.
Yes. But there's not a table for everything. You'll discover that, yes, sometimes you have to think on the fly.
Sounds complicated.
And with Magic, you had to remember a bunch of different characters that had different powers, and it
This
just,
is Magic the Gathering?
yeah, it was just hard for
It
me
was
to.
based on the card. You had to know
Yeah.
what card did what, and since its inception, there have been I forget how many editions there have been of it, but every time there's a new edition, a lot of the old cards go out the door,
Pretty much. Yeah.
and you end up spending an entire paycheck on just to update your deck. It's like, nope.
Whereas with D&D, you have books. They tried in 4th edition, because there's 5 editions now, they tried with 4th edition to go ahead and make little cards that had, brief descriptions of what each thing did. But most people didn't use them. They would print them out so they had a quick reference, but they didn't actually print them into cards.
Okay.
They just, look at them for reference.
The 4th edition character generator printout, you put all the cards on a page, and X number of pages you would have depending on what level you were.
Okay. So again, I've never played, so I don't really know how this works, but they write the game every time? There's someone who writes the story or comes up with it?
Sometimes there are pre-printed stories that come from the company,
Okay.
but more ambitious players will write their own scenarios, their own adventures.
Okay.
And Martin, I think you have an adventure you're working on.
Yes, I'm working on what I like to call the Tomb of Some Dumb Guy.
The what?
It's called the Tomb of Some Dumb Guy, and
Okay.
I'm reworking chapter 1 of this, epic, adventure, which I'm going to be writing the first chapter at GriffinCon this year.
Okay. GriffinCon?
Yeah, it's
Where is that?
it's through Griffin Bookstore downtown.
Okay.
Yeah, in South
It's going to be at the Scottish Rites Building. I'm not really sure where that's at, but I'll figure it out when I get there.
It's next to the South Bend Civic Theater.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're writing an adventure. How long does that take to write one?
Oh, well, I've been technically writing this thing since 1990
Yeah.
something.
So it's going to be really good.
Yeah, it was already in process when I met him in '91.
Yeah, because you were talking about it last year on the show. I'm like, are you ever going to get it published?
Well, I may or may not get it published,
Yeah.
but I'm definitely going to try and get the first chapter run at GriffinCon, so I can at least see what needs more work and what doesn't.
Right. Right.
But it's like every time they change the edition, I've had to change the setup. So it's like, come on.
Well, if you just hurry up and write it, you wouldn't have to keep changing editions for it.
Well, unfortunately, I almost had it ready in 3.0, and basically 3rd edition. But then, like a couple of years later, when I was just about ready to send it into Wizards to get it published, they turn around and change the edition. And they seem to do that every time I'm just about ready to get it published.
So what is the process of getting it published? That means so other people will have access to it and can use it for their games. Okay.
Well, what I want to do is
Interesting.
I want to send it into Wizards and have them publish it, so that I can just sit back and rake in the royalties.
Okay. It's a good plan.
Yeah, I don't know how popular it'll be because I've played portions of it, small portions of it, but I have never seen the entire finished work. So this could be really interesting.
Well, the original concept for it would have included would have been a 3-system game. Dungeons and Dragons, 1st edition, Boot Hill, and Gamma World. But I think 4th edition is going to wrap all that into one system. We just have to find the right bits and pieces within the rules to make it work. Because a lot of the 4th edition they made Gamma World a D&D world. So hopefully they continue that and release a Gamma World for 5th, so I can actually do it. I've got a fan-based version of Gamma World to work from, but that's not going to work real well in published in a published system.
Okay.
Cool. Now, aren't you kind of like doing something similar for school, or?
Something similar to creating a D&D.
As in they're writing, make them get something
Yes.
published.
That would be nice. Go
yeah,
to school for
publishing.
D&D.
That's always the goal.
Yeah, I guess you could go to school for D&D.
Maybe people do that. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I mean I am in school right now. So I'm in a PhD program. It's a kind of a dual program, so it's psychology and peace studies
Where?
at Notre Dame, the University of Notre Dame. So yeah, I'm in my 3rd year of that. I'm almost done with courses, and I'm about to start working on my dissertation. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. So that's actually why I'm here studying Access TV. It's for a
That's
class
cool.
project that I'm doing in ethnography, as I talked to you
Yeah.
all about.
That's cool.
Well, that's very neat.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
What's the title of your dissertation? Do you have one?
Oh, not yet. No, I still have about a year before I'll propose that. Yeah, so I'm still working on it, still trying to figure it out. But
Okay.
youth and political violence, I think broadly, is what I am looking
Okay.
at. How are children and youth affected by growing up in places where there's a lot of violent conflict, but a lot of community engagement, and how can media be used to engage communities, which is where Access TV comes in.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's kind of nice for the community to be able to.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of interesting shows on here. I mean, if you get the channel, I've seen some of them, and like I said before, some of them are religious, which is all right, but there's a lot of different kind of programming on here for local South Bend, if you like to watch that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's some really interesting educational programs
Yeah.
from what I've noticed. I
Yeah,
was
that too. I've
really
seen a
impressed,
few
yeah.
of them. I don't know what the name of it was, but I saw this one where they had like a bunch of kids together and they were like dancing some music, which I thought was kind of cool. But
Turning Up Midwest Swag, right?
is that what it is?
Yeah, I think
Okay,
so.
I don't. I never caught the name, but
Yeah, my
Yeah,
kids
I've
are
seen it a few
older,
times.
so I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's just the Access TV show
Yeah.
that they do here. So yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
think Frederica Love, I think is her name, the woman who does that.
I didn't catch every. I just happened to catch
Yeah,
the show
my
once or
youngest
twice.
David is 14, so
Okay.
yeah, we don't do little kids shows anymore.
Yeah.
So are you done with school after ND then? Or are you going to go in the field then, or?
After I'm done with this program, I am done with school. Definitely. Definitely. Yeah, it is a lot of schooling. The program itself is about 6 years.
Wow.
So it kind of never stops, but it's good. I mean, it's a really great program, and I'm learning a lot and enjoying it. So
You gonna like stay in the area, or you're like off to wherever the job field takes you? Or you have no idea yet?
I have no idea. It, probably leaving. I'm not sure where.
Yeah.
It really depends where the jobs are.
Right.
But
That's
yeah,
cool.
probably not sticking around South Bend as much as I like it here. It is a really good town, but
Yeah.
harder to find jobs in my field, I think.
A lot of people are having that problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to go somewhere where there's a larger market.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem with a lot of degrees. Unless you get into nursing or teaching, and then
Yeah, I heard you mentioning earlier that you were interested in going back to school.
yeah, I've always liked to. I tried it once, but it didn't work. I mean, I passed, but I did online, and it just. I think I'd rather go to class.
Yeah. What would you want to study?
I first went for computer science, but I think since I've been doing television, it's like, I think I might want to
That
venture
would be
into
fun.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked retail most of my life, and I think I like to branch out and, you know.
Try something new.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm always an advocate of that.
Right now, it's just coming up with the money, and I don't feel like taking out any kind of loans. I'm paying one off still, so I don't know. But
Yeah, I
can't wait. You
recently-
can't wait too much longer, though. If you keep waiting, then it's gonna run out of time.
Yeah, I recently took on a new career, and now is a good time to do it. Now is a
Yeah.
good time to do it.
What career?
Oh, I'm a medical billing and coding specialist.
That's cool.
Okay.
I'm the one that takes that neat little red and white form that the doctor hands you on your way out of the exam room, and that gets brought to me, and I take all the little numbers and abbreviations on there, plug it into a form, and send it off to the insurance company to get them to pay the doctor.
Okay.
That's my job. Sit in front of a computer,
How do
crunching
you
numbers.
like it so far?
That'd be a nice job too.
Actually, it's really nice.
Yeah?
I really like it.
That's great.
I'm real good with remembering codes, and because the codes are so small on that form, you have to like really look down and really concentrate to see them and get them in there correctly.
Yeah.
But it's fine. I love it.
That's
Yeah,
good.
even you went back to school, Marty, didn't you? Or
Yeah,
ITT Tech or something.
Yeah,
I was at ITT Tech. I graduated with an associate's degree, but at this point in my life, I'm disabled, so it's hard for me to. The job I'd be qualified for now, I can't really do because of my physical limitations.
yeah. I went to Ross Medical
Well, at least
up in Granger.
you got a degree I never finished. I wish I did.
Oh dear.
But what?
Oh, that you didn't finish?
Oh yeah. Well, it's not because it got complicated, and I don't want to ruin my GPA because I don't know. I mean, it wasn't real complicated, but my GPA is just staggering at a 2.0 right now, and I just afraid I don't want to make it worse and get suspended or anything. So
Okay.
if I go back to school, I would have to choose a different school than IUSB because of that. I think so.
Okay.
I don't know.
Lots of options out there.
Yeah. I thought about Ivy Tech, but it depends. So
Yeah, I think a lot of the people who work here are Ivy Tech students. So if you're interested in TV, I hear that that's a good
Yeah.
option. I don't
Yeah.
actually know anything about it, so I shouldn't be talking.
I don't either, but it's just the price at IUSB went high, and because of my GPA there, I don't know. They said if I failed one more class, it's like, because I worked and went to school too, so
Yeah, it's really hard to do that, to balance work and school.
yeah.
Yeah.
I did all right. I mean, I did pretty good. It's just when you try to work full time and go to school full time, it's just
Yeah, balancing work with anything
Yeah.
is people who balance work and home life have the same problem. And then you try to balance work, home life, and school, it can get complicated.
Yeah, a number of my friends in the program we're in, it's a very intensive program. You're taking classes and doing research, and it's just a lot of time and a lot of work. And there are a lot of students who are married and have kids, and I have no idea how they do that. I'm so impressed by it. But yeah, it's so hard to balance these things. And, it really helps having a job or a school that's really supportive of people who have families and, not expecting, I shouldn't say not expecting too much, but at least providing resources and support that makes it a a little bit easier to
For
balance
people who
it.
have a life.
Yeah, exactly.
well, a lot of younger girls these days. I mean, they get pregnant so early and everything. It's like when I was growing up, none of my friends and I would never thought about having a family like at 18 or. Not saying there's anything wrong with it. It's just it happens, but then things don't work out.
Yeah. I waited until I was 27.
Well, that's why I'm saying most of my friends didn't get married till about then either. So it's like,
Well, the generation behind us, my parents, they started having thoughts of having a family at 18, 19. So that it's not that unusual for
I suppose it's
people
just,
to start considering that.
I think there's a lot of variation between when people decide to have families.
It depends on how
Yeah.
secure they feel in their home situation before they just decide to have children.
yeah, I don't know. Nothing wrong with it. It's just I just keep thinking in like when I was growing up, we never thought of anything like that. Not until our later years, because we were all going to college and everything. And, but it's like when I started working in retail, I know it's like a lot of younger girls like were either getting pregnant, or it's like, really? But I suppose sometimes you just can't.
It just happens.
Happens. Anyway,
To each his own.
yeah, on to the next subject. So, what's on the discussion for the last half of the show?
Movies.
Movies?
Movies.
Yeah. That can
Yeah, I
work
just
out.
recently saw Zootopia.
Oh, I did
that
see
is
that.
one hilarious movie.
Yeah, really.
I wanted to see that, but I just
I heard good
timing.
things. What about
Yeah.
it did you like?
Well, that's the whole thing. It's like,
Yeah.
of course, with my memory, it's like that long, and so it's like I remember the movie. remember that I like the movie, but that's about it. And I don't want to spoil it for anybody who wants to go see it.
Yeah, the last movie I went and saw was Deadpool.
Oh, I saw that. That's the last
Now
one I saw,
that was worth the couple of hours in the seat. That was definitely worth it.
too. Yeah.
Definitely not a kid's movie. My 14-year-old was kind of going, Mom, I gotta go see this movie. Everyone's talking about it. I gotta go see this movie. It's like, nope, that's not going to happen.
Okay.
Not going to happen. It's definitely not a kid-friendly movie.
Yeah, especially when the lead actor goes on TV and says, "Don't take your kids to this."
Yeah. It ended up on the internet and on TV, and yeah, Ryan Reynolds definitely specifically said, "Don't take kids to this. Don't take kids to this. This is
Good to
not."
know.
If you're taking your kids to this, you're a bad parent.
Now, if they can get in on their own, like my older two can,
It's almost like
It's
a
off you. It's all
superhero,
them.
but it's almost like more lifelike, I think. And like, I don't know. Most superhero movies make it comical, but this was like,
It was funny in its own right.
yeah.
What
But
do you
it-
mean by that?
Well, there was situation comedy.
Okay.
there's a reason why Deadpool is called the Merc with the Mouth,
Okay.
because he's sarcastic and funny, and some of the humor is fantastic, but because of the violence, it's just not appropriate.
And some of the language.
Well, kids have gotten used to that kind of language already. It's mostly the violence.
Yeah.
Well, from what I saw, I mean, there was violence in it, but I guess to me, it didn't seem that violent.
It was violent enough.
Some of the visual jokes were great, like the Adventure Time watch that Deadpool wears, or the Hello Kitty cell phone, or
What was the Adventure Watch?
the Adventure
Adventures?
Time watch.
Adventure Time. Oh, like the cartoon.
Yes, like the cartoon. He had a cartoon watch on, and he had a Hello Kitty phone cover on his cell phone.
That's cute.
You haven't seen the movie yet?
No, not yet.
No.
Oh,
I
you
would like
should.
to.
You should. It's very
Yeah.
good.
Okay. I think the last movie I saw was The Big Short. Have any of you
I
seen
haven't heard
it?
of that one, no.
Okay. It was about the housing market crash in 2008, sort of leading
Okay.
up to it. It was good.
Documentary.
No, it was not actually a documentary. It was fiction. It was sort of obviously based on true events, but yeah, not quite a documentary. It was I think it had Christian Bale in it and Brad Pitt. I don't really remember, but it was really well done, and it's a really serious topic, but they somehow managed to make it kind of humorous, really entertaining. It was really well done, I thought, and really upsetting to see what a mess everything is, and how many people knew about it leading up to it and didn't do anything. But
What was the name of it again?
The Big Short.
The Big Short. I never heard of it.
Was that a limited release, or
I don't think so. It was nominated for an Oscar.
did you see it here, or?
Yeah, I saw it here.
Okay.
Edison, the Cinemark 14.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
that's what it's called.
That's what it is.
Well, there's now, as of now, there's only 3 movie theaters in the general vicinity. Wonderland Cinema up in Niles, Movies 14 on Edison, and Showplace 16.
Yeah, the
off of
AMC
Chi-
theater.
The AMC,
Yeah.
yeah. And then there are a couple that show older movies, right?
No,
There's-
the
That just
dollar.
closed down.
The Dollar
really?
Theater,
Yeah.
yes, over by University Park Mall. It's gone. They had their last showing here a couple of days ago. They showed
Yeah.
Ride Along 2. That was their last movie. And then they closed up. They're done.
Yeah.
That's a
A lot of
shame.
people
Mostly
were upset
because
about
they
it.
weren't making enough money on most of their money was made on their concessions.
Well, that's the way most movie theaters
Well,
are.
I heard it was for sale too, and then nobody ever bought it. And I don't know. That could have been a reason why it got shut down too.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
They wanted somebody to buy it out so that the company that was running it at the time didn't have to maintain it anymore.
I kept wondering why. I kept looking at it like it was starting to rot. I mean, well, like the parking lot, like they wouldn't fix it up, and
The parking lot has needed attention for years.
yeah, I kept wondering why. And now, since it actually closed up, I could explain a lot of things.
Yeah, that has something to do with it.
But
Well,
Yeah.
because the maintenance on the parking lot and the building itself, that's, a big chunk of their proceeds right there.
Yeah, I don't know what the cost is on maintaining a parking lot, but I bet it's pretty pricey.
It's probably why they probably just don't have the money to keep it up.
Well, especially for the price they were charging for, everything in general.
Although I have noticed that the bigger theaters, like the AMC Theater down on Chippewa, is that the price of a matinee has gone down. It used to be $6, $7. It's now under $5.
Yeah. But the food is still outrageous.
Yes, yes.
Their concessions. The only place that I know that they can, my family used to go see theaters, movies at Chippewa and Edison when they were still the high dollar theaters. Then they discovered, the theater up in Niles. Back then it was called the Ready, and Ready would have first run movies. But their concessions were relatively cheap, and you go in there and see a movie for what it would cost, for a family of 4. At the big theater just to get in. We'd go up to the Ready, and there's like get in there, we get the tickets and concessions for the same for the price it would cost us to go get into the other theaters.
I remember when I first moved here that most of the movies me and my boyfriend went to were at the Ready because that's what we could afford. It was cheaper to drive up there and pay, what they were asking than go someplace closer that was going to ask for a whole lot more.
But even so now, movies 14 in Chippewa are lowering their matinee prices so that it's cheaper to get in because they're trying to compete with Wonderland. But they haven't lowered their concession prices, so it's like, yeah, you're not likely going to do that.
That's interesting. I've never even heard of Wonderland. It's how far is it of a drive from here?
From here, maybe about what? From
Half
your
an
house,
hour?
it's only about 10 minutes. I would say maybe 20 minutes.
20 to 30 minutes from the studio.
I know it's about a half hour from my house, and I live on the other end of Mishawaka. So
Okay.
it could be around there.
Yeah.
It's not a real far drive, but I mean, it can be. But,
Yeah, depending on where you are in the viewing
Yeah.
area.
Yeah. We go a lot because it's nearer to his house than his
When he
mom's.
comes over, he comes collects me, and we go up there, see a movie, and come back and play Mad Magazine card game.
I don't know how often I'm going to be up to Wonderland now that they serve beer.
Well, Movies 14 is doing that too, so.
Really?
Yep.
I did not
They
know
tore
that.
down the old game room. They're making a cafe out of it and putting a bar in there too.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's a new thing to make
Serve beer.
everybody
I would have thought
try.
they would have started putting Starbucks in the theaters.
I don't know what caused them to start putting alcohol in it, but I don't know if that's a good idea or not.
Yeah.
Not necessarily,
Yeah.
because if they serve alcohol now, they're now if somebody walks out of there or gets into an accident, they're responsible.
I remember in my college days when we'd smuggle alcohol into the theater.
Are they responsible for it? Because wouldn't
If they serve it, they're responsible for it. If they
but
serve
they
it,
wouldn't be responsible for someone getting into an accident? Because that would be like a bar being responsible for someone who drinks and drives.
only if their
It's in
blood
the
alcohol
parking.
level is really high and it would be obvious that the person was intoxicated. Then it would be their responsibility for having served them after a certain point. I mean, if they don't appear drunk and they get in an accident, that's on them. If they're obviously drunk or their blood alcohol level is high enough that they would have obviously been impaired, then yeah, it's the bar's problem.
Okay.
Yeah, but I guess if you get a beer at the movie theater, it's like, are you really going to keep going and getting a beer, or are you going to sit and watch
People
the movie?
still do it for soda. People will get up and go to the concession stand to get soda.
I guess. I mean,
But
it's
then
really,
again, you'd probably have to
know.
drink it there because they're not going to put lids and straws in a beer.
depending on how they, unless they do it like a.
We haven't drank beer out of straws since we
No,
were
no,
in high
no.
school.
I mean,
In high school.
I'm talking about maybe, how they put it in, pop in the styrofoam cup. Maybe they'll do the same with beer. I don't know.
No, they have to have special glasses for that.
I don't know. I've never.
Because
gotten here. I don't-
these will slowly deteriorate with alcohol.
uh,
Well, a new styrofoam will deteriorate with just about anything.
Yeah.
If you take a styrofoam cup from like a Speedway or a 7-Eleven, any kind of convenience store, really, if you keep using it over time, it'll start leaking liquids through the little spaces in between the dots, because that's all it is a bunch of compressed dots.
Yeah, I never really. I guess you're kind of right about that. Never really paid attention before. Yeah, I mean, I saw the beer stand at the Wonderland, but I don't know how they actually pour it out. Like what
It's on tap.
is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they have it's on tap, and so they have to have special glasses for it.
I don't drink that stuff that much.
It's
so I don't know.
probably plastic glasses, for beer.
Like you get at the ballpark.
Yeah,
That would be my guess then.
Red Solo cup.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, we're on our little half hour left of the show. Anything else you guys like to bring up for last half? Or any other movies?
I don't
recent
know.
topics?
I still want to talk about games.
We can talk about games.
Last Mother's Day, my kids introduced me to Cards Against Humanity.
Uh-huh.
Never heard of that.
That game
I-
I have played.
I have never had so much fun in my entire life.
Yeah.
It is so inappropriate, some of the stuff that we come up with. It's a perfect game for, like teenagers and adults, because some of the stuff is kind of inappropriate,
Yeah.
but that's the whole point of the game. That's the object of the game, is to take cards that you're given with one half of a statement and another set of cards with the second half of the statement, putting them together so they are so wrong and inappropriate. It is fun.
a lot of fun.
Whoever ends up with, because if you get the best one, and it's a group consensus, whoever gets the best one gets the cards, and whoever has the most cards at the end is the winner. Never actually won. I guess because I don't usually think that way. But my kids, oh boy.
Yeah.
They came up with some of the most wrong things.
Oh. That sounds better.
I never heard that game.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is really
Yeah.
popular.
Really?
Yeah.
They decided here a few months back to sell a deck of nothing, which was absolutely nothing. You didn't get a letter. You didn't get, a card that said, yes, you have purchased the deck of nothing. They just sent you sent them $15 and they sent you nothing. And they ended up donating the entire amount to charity. I thought that was pretty cool.
Interesting. So have you played Apples to Apples?
I've heard of that. I've seen
Okay.
that, but I never played it.
My sister bought that. We played it once or twice.
Okay. It's basically the same thing,
Is
but
it?
it's just a lot more inappropriate.
Oh, really?
The cards are.
I've seen it sold at the stores I worked at. But
I don't
never
know.
actually played it.
Some of the Cards Against Humanity stuff is pretty inappropriate. And
Oh, that's
Apples,
what I mean. Cards Against Humanity is an inappropriate version of Apples to Apples.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
okay. I thought you meant the other way around at first.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been something nice that my kids could have cut their teeth on if we had known that Cards Against Humanity was coming. Cut their teeth on Apples to Apples, and then when they turn a certain age, then let them play Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah, it's a fun game. It helps to play with people who have a similar sense of humor as you. I've noticed there are some groups that I can play with, but there are other groups that I've played with, and it just doesn't quite work out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just
Hmm.
don't really understand each other's humor, or
Yeah.
yeah, I've played with some people who don't really understand what's on the cards, and they'll read it and they'll be like, I don't know what this is referring to. So it makes it hard.
Yeah.
Context.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need a little context.
Exactly.
What do you guys do in your spare time at school? Like, I mean,
Spare time, spare time, spare time.
What's that?
well,
Spare time?
you gotta
What's
have
that?
some. I mean, like right now you're not in school and you're here, so.
Oh wow, I shouldn't have to think this hard. I hang out with my friends a lot. We have a lot of dinner parties or
Dinner parties.
potlucks, or some of my friends come over once a week for a knitting night.
Okay.
One of my friends is really good at knitting, so she was teaching us, and now we just make it a weekly thing where we get together and watch Netflix and
That's cool.
knit.
Netflix and knit.
Yes, Netflix
Not
and
to be
knit.
mistaken
like
with-
Netflix and chill. Not
Yeah.
quite the same thing.
No.
So you guys don't sit and randomly play games like
Yes, I'm not so old that I don't know what Netflix and chill is.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like playing games. My roommate actually loves playing games. It's one of her favorite things. So we're always wanting to have game nights, but hard to get people together for it.
Oh, I've got a friend, Bob, who's big into games, all kinds of games. And he will, he'll say, all right, game night, what are we playing? Is it, Settlers of Catan, or are we playing
that's a good
D&D,
one, yeah.
or Risk, or, pick one.
Yeah. Settlers of Catan, I played it for the first time this year, and it's really fun.
I'd like to
it's
try it.
really
I
fun.
I played
Yeah.
it
I've seen
like
it. I haven't
towards
really.
the end of last year. So my other sister, my sister from another mother,
Okay.
Melanie, my sister's best friend, and her family brought it with them from it's West Virginia. They're down there somewhere,
Okay.
and they came up for Christmas, and we played a couple rounds of that, and it's like it was fun. Just not something I have the money to put into at this point. Because one of those sets is pretty expensive.
Settlers of Catan has recently become a lot more popular because it got a little bit of airtime on The Big Bang Theory.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes,
Interesting.
yes, it did. They were playing Settlers of Catan in one of the episodes, and the whole joke was that that Sheldon. Well, one of the things you need in order to build settlements is wood, and Sheldon had wood, and he needed sheep, and that was the running joke. And of course, Howard and Raj were sitting there snickering because they took it all the wrong way. And Sheldon, of course, didn't get it.
Of course.
Why is it so funny that I have wood? Insert laugh track here. So, once it got some airtime on, nationally syndicated show, everybody started snapping it up.
Interesting.
I like that show. It's pretty funny.
You can sell anything on Big Bang Theory.
I just saw the recent.
Yeah, I just recently watched, I think it was, the last, most current episode of the TV series Lost Girl. It ended well. I'm not sure if it's the last episode, but it might be. We're talking about and this is like the last season for that. It's a good show.
I just saw the last Big Bang Theory episode with Adam West on it. They had him come on because it was Sheldon's birthday, and they were wondering what he would like to have on his birthday that he never got, and he said Batman was one of them. So they got together and called Adam West, and he actually came on.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's going to be
He
really
sound-
old.
Yeah.
How old is he now?
Probably approaching 90.
Adam West
80?
is not 90.
Well,
Somewhere between 70 and 80.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I thought I saw something on Facebook where he was like 86.
That's what I thought, like around 85.
Wow.
Not
Okay.
possible. No. I was watching that when I was a kid. It's not possible. You must be in error.
Well, like I said, I saw the post on Facebook. It should be in his 80s.
It's possible.
Or maybe he was in his 70s. I don't know. I forget.
I think he's one of the last few actors alive still from the original Batman show. So,
Oh, I bet Burt Ward is still around somewhere.
yeah,
But it doesn't. Burt Ward doesn't do anything.
Who
That's
is
true.
Burt, the guy who played Robin.
Robin.
Oh, okay.
Burt Ward.
Yeah, you've probably never seen the 60s Batman.
I have.
Ooh.
Yeah, I have. It's funny. Like I'm comparing it
Some
to
of it
Batman
is
from
really
now.
kind of campy.
Yeah, it's so dark now.
Oh.
Batman has become so dark, and
Because that's what it
Going
was
back,
originally from
yeah.
the comic. The comics
Yeah.
had him
Sure.
being very dark.
the Frank Miller version, the
I think they just
But when they did that, the Adam West Batman series, they made it kind of more comical.
Yeah,
Well, they
like
wanted
the
to lighten
bang
it up.
pow,
They wanted to
yeah.
lighten it up for the kids. They wanted to make sure it was something that children could watch, as opposed to the comic books, which were more for, teenagers, adults.
Sure.
I think that was probably the advent of graphic novels. Was the more serious comic books.
Right. Yeah.
well, there was even like a movie series of Batman from the 40s, which was actually a little more darker than the Adam West show too.
Well, a lot of the early, there were Adam West movies for Batman.
No, these were movies made before Adam West was Batman. They made them. I don't think they're that well known, but they made them during the time, I guess, when they had all the wars back then, like for kids to go watch. But I've seen some of them. I bought them at Toys R Us once, and they're a little more darker than the actual Adam West show. So I think he's right. Like, originally meant to be dark, and
Well, like I said, from the comics, it used to be very, very dark.
yeah,
So instead of letting the villains live, Batman would actually kill them. Instead of letting them live, and it's like, because now the cartoons that are out now are more like, he doesn't kill them always, but sometimes he does. It's like,
yeah.
Sometimes it's an accident. Something I've noticed is that a lot of the superheroes nowadays, they don't kill intentionally, but sometimes sometimes accidentally a villain will die.
Like, how many times have the
well,
Joker
like
died?
I watched this recent watch on HBO, the Batman and the Red Hood, which was one of the Robin kind of took over for Robin, and it's like the guy got accidentally killed by the Joker, and then when come to find out that Ra's al Ghul in this one actually was an immortal, using this pool of something or other, and put the kid in the pool to bring him back to for some reason for Batman. It's like the kid turned out wrong.
I never heard of that character until the Christian Bale movies came out. Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, I didn't either until
Yeah.
Liam Neeson.
Me either.
Yeah.
Me either. I'd
I
never
wonder if
heard
it's
of that.
some new character they just decided to make up for it.
Or
Decided to bring it out of
may have been from the later comics too. You never
Well, that
know.
too, yeah.
And decided to bring it out of obscurity. Because it really is a neat character. I'm surprised nobody's used it before.
I just never thought of it. Who knows?
Could be.
Yeah. Alrighty. So we're getting close to the end of the show. Any other shout outs you want to mention, say hi to, last subjects to bring up?
I don't know.
Oh, don't get me started on shout-outs, because, yes, there would be shout-outs.
Do you ever meet up with Joe and Connor a lot at school?
Yeah. So I don't know Connor too well. I've never had any classes with him, but I know Joe pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
I
hang out
know
now and
Connor
then.
that well either. He just befriended me after Joe did, and
Yeah, he's a really
he
nice
saw
guy.
he saw the show.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, they're both really good guys.
Are they?
It's too bad they couldn't be on.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future.
that's why I was like, were you still coming on too? Because then it's like we had to change the whole structure of everything. And,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't want him to screw up his schooling
No,
over this.
yeah.
So it's like,
Priorities.
yeah. He seemed like he'd be a fun guy to hang out with too. So
Yeah.
kept saying if you guys ever wanted to meet up, like sometime before we got on the show, but either
Yeah.
But-
He's a barrel of laughs.
yeah.
That'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping to meet him today, but yeah,
We can always try it for in May, and
yeah, I know.
when we have Adam around.
Well, I have to try. I took a week off of work in the third week of May, so this is the friend I was telling you about earlier, and he's coming in town. And I think he said around the third week too, so I'm going to try and get the next taping around that week. So, I mean, we get him on. If you guys want to come back on, you're more than welcome.
Well, that'll be nice.
Yeah.
I'd like that.
Yeah.
When is
Or-
that going to be?
In May.
In May?
Yeah.
We don't know the exact date yet because
I'm going to try to work around the third
student-
week when my friend comes.
Okay.
So the student has to get back to him about when the taping is, and
Yeah. So,
Interesting.
because I tried to get Adam and come back on last year because he was the one that started our last show, and he's just really good at it.
Yeah.
So he knows how to make a pretty good show, but his sense of humor is kind of out there. If you ever get a chance to watch the other one,
Okay.
yeah, Adam's sense of humor is kind of twisted.
that's funny though. But
You almost have to be twisted in order to play some of the games we're talking about.
But yeah. All right. Anything else, or? I think
Not
we
that
got
I
a
can
good
think
10
of.
minutes.
So I'm realizing that I don't actually know any of you very well. So are you all from South Bend? Is that
Not
Mishawaka.
originally, no.
You're not, okay.
I'm originally from this little tiny town called Boone Grove, Indiana.
Boone Grove?
Yep.
That's a cute name.
Well, allegedly Daniel Boone came through the area,
Really?
and they renamed the local town from Jumbo to Boone Grove.
Both fun names. Okay.
Yeah, it has its own
Win-win.
It has its own zip code, but that's about it.
Okay.
It's got an elementary school, middle school, one church, and a boatload of houses and farms.
Small,
And
small
that's
town.
it.
That's nice. So where is that in relation to here? How far is it?
It's about 9 miles south of Valparaiso.
Okay.
So
I drove to a town called Wakarusa one time, and it was a very small.
did you stop at the dime store?
No, but I stopped at the gas station with the only McDonald's.
Oh, you should have stopped at the dime store. They've got some of the greatest food.
Really? I think their whole
Candy.
town is just like one street. But I just wanted to check it
Sounds
out.
about like Watt.
Watton?
Sounds about like Watt.
Oh, you mean Wyatt?
No, there's a town in Indiana called Watt.
Oh, is there?
Watt, like wattage, like electric?
I'm not, yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's like
think-
wattage.
Oh, I never
And
heard
then
of
there's
that one.
Wyatt.
Yeah, that's the one I haven't
Okay.
heard of, and that's kind of small
So
too.
I've driven, actually, when Mom and Daddy were alive, we drove through the going somewhere, and I don't remember where at this point, but we drove through Watt, and it's like, you don't blink, you'll miss it.
Yeah.
It's like,
I never heard of that one.
the town's about one road long, and it's from one end to the other, that's the town.
Yeah, that's what Wyatt is like. Boone Grove's the same way. It's not even a highway. It's a county road going through town. There's one stop sign. That's
That's it.
Michigan has a lot of small towns too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever.
I don't know Michigan too well. I don't know Indiana too well. I'm kind of new to the Midwest,
Oh, yeah?
so I'm learning it. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Michigan's got so many lakes, and there's usually a town on either side of each lake. And I forget how many lakes are in southern Michigan just by itself. But yes,
I don't go to Michigan much, but I mean, I have driven through it a few times, and like you go through Casada, they call them villages, so like they're so small. They don't even call them towns, except for maybe Niles. But
Now it's actually a township.
township, yeah. But
Okay.
all right, yeah.
Now that we've had our discussion about geography.
Well, hey, you
It's
know,
riveting.
yeah. You guys just want to call it a day then, or we're gonna finish
You
it
can
out for
call
later?
it.
What do you think? You want to?
Sure.
Talk
Do
about-
your show.
Well, I don't know. We've got about 5 minutes. Is there anything last, or
Yeah, let's just go ahead and call it.
call it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank our guests for coming onto the show today, and then we're gonna end up calling it. And it was a fun day. We had a little twist of topics to discuss. And I'd like to thank Dana and Julia to come on. And
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah,
It
no
was
problem.
fun.
Thank you,
Joe.
Frank.
you're welcome. And Joe, I wish you were here, and so with Josh.
Me too.
Yeah, it's like you could have made the life of the party today.
Oh, Joe.
It's all right. We'll try to get you on again sometime. So, and then I guess that's going to be it for the 15th episode of the House of Plum. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.